Greetings and welcome to Thirsty Mage, the podcast surveying the gravestone of forgotten RPG franchises. Welcome to the podcast. I'm David Lloyd, and in this episode, we're remembering some RPG franchises that are either dead or dormant, and which ones we hope that publishers will dip into the pits of Lazarus to gift new life. Joining me is a Golden Sun fan in mourning, Casey Gibson.
Well, a true Quest 64 fan in mourning, but yeah, Golden Sun a close second.
Yeah, I forgot. I guess Quest 64 would technically count as a one-off that never breathed new life. But
we need Quest Switch 2.
yeah, it's funny. We were doing some homework for this episode on some of the franchises that are no longer with us anymore, and it was just this like crazy rabbit hole of like different there's so many franchises that have gone dormant, or there's so many that have either like evolved into something else, or different, like even different subgenres of RPGs have gone away. There's just like you could go in a million directions on this one, so we're gonna do our best to chat about a few different some of the notable ones, I guess, some of the ones that maybe we'll see if we've even heard of them. sometimes there's a reason that some of these RPGs go out of stock and no longer make some, or no longer making any more entries into the franchises, because some people might not even knew they existed. So yeah, we're going to go through a few different topics. But I guess before we get into the nitty gritty, I'll just remind everyone that The Thirsty Mage is a bi-weekly podcast now, in the sense of the free feed is every 2 weeks. But if you want to get some your weekly mage content in still, we do have a weekly I'm throwing this all off, but we have a regular mage episode 1 week, and then in the next week we have what we call Abed Time. It's a Patreon exclusive podcast. So basically, we do have podcasts going up every week, but in order to get the weekly content, you'll need to be part of the Patreon. So you can
fork them over.
Yep, for as little as $1 a month, you can help keep the lights on here by providing us with a little bit of funds that help us pay the bills, and yeah, we get you that weekly content. So,
those pixel remasters don't pay for themselves, people.
Yeah, that's right. more like those web hosts don't seem to, the cost of web hosting don't go down. Zencaster podcast recording it only goes up. So yeah,
we can't even go back to just Skype anymore,
No, it's once you've tasted the golden nectar, you can't go back.
Well, that and Skype is defunct, isn't it?
Oh yeah, Skype is it's shut down.
Yeah, as of May.
Yeah, I remember the good old days of I don't even remember the app's name. Audacity.
Audacity, dude. Ugh, I hate Audacity.
Yeah, it was basically like fingers crossed that you got a podcast episode out of it, because there's a few times where the audio went into the ether, and we either had to re-record or just skip that week. So
yeah, Jerry famously pooched the very first episode we ever recorded.
I even remember one episode. It must have been a few years ago now, where because it was you and Perry, and Perry pooched your audio, and I think he ended up taking audio of yours from like previous episodes and stitching together an episode. Yeah,
people thought I was stroking out or being like the biggest jerk of all time, and it's like, no, all I did was not, or like, just do what I should have done, and then I got the negative feedback from old Jerry.
Yeah. So that's what money buys now, is Zencaster has a good backup plan. So we haven't lost an episode yet with this recording software. So
it's legit. It's legit.
Yeah. So if you want to join us, you can either head over to thethirstymage.com and click on the Patreon link, or you can go directly to patreon.com/thethirstymage, and we're available there. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and you can also join our Discord, whether or not you're in the Patreon. If you want to have a chat about dormant RPG franchises or anything in the like, again, heading over to thethirstymage.com to click on the Discord link. But yeah, I guess that'll take us through the our segues, our pitch, and we'll get into the meat and
The
potatoes of the
rigmarole,
episode.
if you will.
Yeah, we are going to go through some of the RPG franchises that had their day in the sun and have been sunsetted into oblivion. I guess whether it's the developer has just gone bankrupt or gotten eaten up by another big company or for whatever reason. So there's a few. And like I said, in doing homework for this one, I was doing some checks on the top 10 lists, if you will, of a bunch of websites where they list off what they feel are the most popular or maybe the most in demand dead RPG franchises. But maybe before we get into the entries that usually appear on those lists, I'm curious, Casey, is there any particular RPG franchise that comes to your front of mind when you say dead RPG franchise?
It's I like trying to think back to, yeah, like what are all the great RPGs, and it's like there's so many that are still around. But I guess RP like I almost think to like Warcraft 3, right? And like I guess that sort of blends RTS and RP, like with the hero classes and how they level up and stuff. Like I miss that trajectory of like, sort of mixing those kind of to genres. But yeah, and I'm looking at the list here. Like Grandia wasn't one I played until the remaster, but like that one's super cool. But I guess I'd say Lunar, uh, out of the list here that I'm seeing of like ones that I would be most excited about, and I guess we'll talk about a bunch of those. But I used to love Lunar back in the day, and then they released that DS one, and it was like, oh no.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you mentioned that you talk about Grandia and Lunar because it's made by the same company, Game Arts, which unfortunately I don't believe Game Arts is around anymore. But I guess Gun Ho Entertainment has the rights to at least Lunar. I'm pretty sure they have Grandia as well. So yeah, I guess we won't be seeing any new games from them, but Lunar just had that remaster a few. I want to say it was a couple months ago
Very,
now.
yeah, very recently.
Yeah, so it's
And
definitely
Grandia too. I mean, at this point, it's been years. The HD remaster came out. I just looked it up, 2019, which, whoo, that was a while ago. I guess I did do a review of the second one,
yeah.
um, in that collection. So I guess that, which is nice because that means I've got the both of them on the Switch. If we ever go back for a replay at some
Yeah.
point.
Well, it is funny because in doing the list as well as there was a lot of overlap with like my backlog where it's like, oh yeah, I meant to play that game. I meant to play that game. So yeah, we'll probably get around to some of these. It's funny that you mentioned the RTS because Command and Conquer might not be dead, but it's dead to me now that it's gone mobile.
Yeah,
Um,
the Command and Conquer red alert is up. I've got a few tabs here
yeah,
as well. Yeah, I think, and I think uh, we'll talk more about this on Abed time, I guess, as a spoiler there. But yeah,
well, and that's the funny thing too is like I noticed in some of these as well that a lot of them, not maybe not a lot, but a few of them have at least their final breath of life was on mobile platform, which was kind of sad and to a certain degree as well.
where
It
good games go to die.
Yeah, it's like one last gasp at making money, I guess, because
Put it in
that
chibi style and just put it on
that's
mobile.
right. Yeah, yeah, it's free to play, not free to continue, but free to play. Um, Yeah, so yeah, I guess we'll get through. So, like you said, Lunar and Grandia are those are a couple that usually are on these lists. I think one of the running themes that we see too, as well, is that a lot of these games are like late '90s, early 2000s. We see a lot of like the PS1 and the PS2 era. A lot of RPGs on those two platforms, but not a lot got through there. I guess there was just too many titles and not enough
Well,
market for them, I guess.
especially, I mean, I feel like Square, was like pumping out games back then too. So it's also like with development costs going up and time, right? I guess you sort of cut the fat, if you will, on
Yeah.
some of these games. Um, but yeah, it. I'm hopeful with some, right. Like obviously we've been talking about some of the remasters and re-releases and stuff, and I do wonder. Obviously it's like probably a relatively good cash grab, right? If you've got sort of a game people love and have nostalgia for, and it won't take too much to bring it up to snuff, if you will. But you know, I do wonder if maybe they gauge it like, hey, that actually sold better than we thought. Maybe we should sort of look into reviving it. Would be pretty cool, but that also could be just very hopeful thinking.
Well, in some cases, it kind of depends. Like for example, Lufia. So that was a traditional RPG that I believe the first one was on the Super Famicom or the SNES. That was developed by a company called Neverland, which I believe was the original. Yeah, they were. I believe they're the original makers of like Rune Factory and stuff.
Hmm.
And yeah, I was looking at that, and I was looking at like all the different publishers of Lufia, and going like, holy moly, like who the hell owns that license?
It just
Because
it's one of those ones that has enough cachet, but not too much cachet that it can just like, oh, throw it in to sweeten the deal. Like take that one too.
yeah, because like I know it was originally, I think Taito originally published like the first one, but then there like Square Enix was in there, and then Square Enix bought Taito, and I think there was like Sega might have been a publisher at one point, so
I'm
it was.
seeing Natsume and then Atlas.
Oh man, like what a what a mess.
Atlas
Like
USA. Yeah.
yeah, so it makes you wonder like who owns the rights or uh yeah, like I'm sure a lot of these games run into problems like that.
I
Then you
never
see game.
played any of these Lufia games.
I
Um
started the Lufia one. I thought you and I started Lufia together, and
did
then like we forgot very
if
quickly.
if we did, I must not have played that much clearly.
Yeah.
I feel like I do remember. I'm looking at the list of games here, right? And the last release is actually a DS game. Um, although, man, 2010, so that's a pretty late DS game. Um, so
Well,
maybe
and
I didn't, because I was going to say, I was like, maybe I had some interest in the series, or the DS would have been a time I was really gaming pretty hard. But like 2010, I was in college. I was definitely not looking at Lufia. Curse of the Centrals, Sinistrals,
yeah,
Cent-
Sinistrals. Yeah, I think that. So that's the. Yeah, I think the one on DS that was the remake. So that Curse of the Sinistrals was the sequel to the original game, which also it came out in like the mid '90s on Super NES, and then yeah, it was remade for the DS, and it came out in like 2010. So I guess it's a reimagining of that game. I guess they did modify some of the story and the characters. Oh, and they changed it to an action RPG.
Ooh, okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a little bit of a mess there.
maybe that was the reason that was the last one. Although I'm seeing the Metacritic says 80.
Yeah, it
It's
gets.
not bad.
You hear some
30 out of
people.
40 in Famitsu.
Yeah, I've heard people say good things about like the original, like the Super NES games. Like I
Well,
know
that's the
fans
DS
of.
one. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Because I've
so
heard
even that
the.
wasn't so bad, at least,
I've
critically.
heard. Yeah, I've heard good people talk about like the SNES games being very. Because obviously there's a lot of good RPGs on that platform, and that's kind of usually in the same breath as the others, but it just kind of on like the lower end, I guess. But
Yeah.
uh, people still enjoy it. But this is again another franchise that they started putting them on mobile phones in Japan. So I feel like once the it's like life support essentially. I think it's like once they start going on phones, things are heading for a bad ending.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The end is nigh.
yeah. Because I guess they had a couple. Just looking, they had a PlayStation game that they were working on developing that got canceled, and a Game Boy Color game that ended up getting canceled. So yeah, this seems like one of those games or one of these franchises that's probably nigh to come back with all the different publishers, and it hasn't really, like you said, 2010 is kind of the last time we've heard of it. So and I haven't heard of any new re-releases or remasters coming out because yeah, I guess like with the Switch now that we're seeing these remasters come out, you never know what's going to hit, right? Like
Hmm.
maybe it catches a new uh, audience of folks that are weren't around maybe back then and are starting to get into retro RPGs and then pick it up for the Switch and then like holy moly, because I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure Grandia, like I know you reviewed it pretty well, and I'm pretty sure Grandia actually reviewed pretty well in general when it came out on Switch back in
yeah. It
2019.
it was fun. I enjoyed it. It's funny as of recording. The partners direct for the Switch 2 is actually tomorrow. So who knows? Maybe we'll see some RPG goodness. But yeah, yeah. It's interesting that like you've got such sort of an iconic, you know. Again, I haven't played much, but I know like Lufia. That's a name, right? Like, yeah, I feel like surprised just sort of went the wayward, especially again when it seemed like the games were at least getting critically pretty good scores. But the next one to here, this one actually just got some love not that long ago in terms of a remaster, right?
Yeah, Bates and Kaitos, I believe, 1 and 2.
2023, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they came out together. I remember when it was first announced, I was keeping my eye on it, but I think it was like pretty expensive when it was released.
It
Like,
it currently is $50 on the eShop there. It did come out on Steam.
yeah,
I don't know, which
I
that's
have
so
it on my
funny
wish
for
list.
$25. Oh! It's on 50% sale. Okay, so it is still listed at 50, but it is on
Yeah,
sale currently on Steam.
yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
I
the
never
remaster.
I never played these games either, but I do feel like it was always during the GameCube era. Like I had eyes on it, but just never got around to it.
Yeah, well, and it's funny, like with Xenosaga, I kind of lump these two together because they're both like Monolith Soft games, and there's a reason that the two of them are probably not coming back because Monolith Soft is pretty busy. It's one of those things where it's like these franchises died so that Xenoblade Chronicles could live.
I do wonder, like, are they just? And don't get me wrong, obviously, I'm a huge Xenoblade Chronicles guy, but I do wonder, like, do they like? All right, let's try something new, like, or let's go back into the well and bring something back. I don't think it'd be like a remake per se, but like a new title in a series like that. But I love what they're currently doing, but I'm curious if it's sort of one of those things like, hey, we're just going to keep like, hey, right? There's always a final, like a mainline Final Fantasy is always going to be something's working right for the next
Yeah,
one. So I wonder if that's going to be sort of like a situation where like, hey, we're always pushing the main, the main series here, or if it is something where they could branch out. But they're so good, whatever they touch is going to be great.
yeah, we could get into it now. I was thinking of bringing it up at the end, but now that we're talking about it, I'm curious. Like, what's your opinion on Xenoblade Chronicles? Do you think that the franchise is done now? Because I know there's rumors of Monolith Soft working on a new game, like a brand new RPG. So you got those rumors. Plus, they always are helping Nintendo with developing other games that aren't necessarily a Monolith Soft game.
Yeah,
So do you think? And then the fact that Xenoblade X, was released on Switch as just most like just a port, basically. Like, do you think Chronicles? Do you think we've seen the end of Chronicles now? Like, is the story complete?
I don't. It's interesting because it's like I do wonder, right? Because I do feel like the three are, they could be played standalone, right? But like obviously, if you play them all, you get that extra good stuff. Um, I don't think it's over. I do wonder if they would do like an X2, like, hey, we're gonna give, we've sort of played out like our main line here. Let's like give the X a sequel and sort of do that more open world, you know, uh, format instead of like the more like not that the other games are necessarily super linear, but for from a story aspect. But yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily think like I don't think the next one is going to 100% going to be a Chronicles game, but I also definitely don't think that we've seen the end of it, like super long term. You know,
Yeah, just looking at because they basically have worked on like a lot of the like Mario Kart World, Legend of Tears of the Kingdom, Splatoon 3, New Horizons. Like,
they're just so good with the worlds. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like I know Nintendo's like always going to tap in on that.
yeah. So and yeah, they don't have anything and instead other than that rumor game. And I was just looking up Tetsuya Takahashi, like the one of the founders anyway, who does most of the writing for these games, was there with the Xenosaga and Xenogears and by Tenkaitos, and he's 58, so he's still young enough to be making games, but not necessarily in it for the like how many more years can he put in? I guess at this
Yeah,
point,
yeah, I don't know.
uh,
Yeah,
especially when with some of these guys, like when you think of like Yuji Horii, like he's up there now, and I know he's still working on Dragon Quest stuff, but I can't imagine it's got to be more of an advisory role as opposed to like a
yeah, in the
creative director
trenches.
kind of thing. So it
Nah,
makes you
for sure.
so yeah, it's just interesting to see, and then with in particular, Baiten Kaitos and Xeno's Saga are Namco Bandai Namco properties. So probably nothing's going to happen in
With
the future
those,
with those
yeah.
ones. Especially with like Bandai Namco, there seems to be like this push pull with between Sony and Nintendo with that company too, because I think Sony just bought like a percentage of Namco. I think they bought in like 5 or 10% or something like that. But then you look at wasn't it Bandai? Was it Bandai or was it From Software that was partnering with Switch 2 for the because there's that new game that's coming out that they announced that this like when the Switch 2
I think
launched.
that's the From Software game.
Yeah. But From Software is owned by are they owned
The
by?
Dusk Bloods, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
I
Let's
thought they got bought
see.
out. Maybe. Maybe not.
Developer publishers are Nintendo and From Software.
Yeah. Oh,
Hmm.
Sony's got a piece of From Software as well, so
Well, Japan. Yeah, hmm. I don't know. Who knows? All that gibberty jabber
I
of
know
who
there's so
owns what
many
and
like yeah, but I don't know. I guess at this point I would be pretty surprised to see if anything came out of those ones. If we
yeah,
saw
I would have
anything new.
loved to see them do just a brand new IP. You know,
Yeah.
just do whatever you want. Imagine like they were like, "All right, guys, we're giving you a medieval themed game," and you're like, "What?" But you
Well,
know what?
that's
It'd probably be incredible anyway.
yeah. I was just thinking like most of those Monolith Soft games are pretty like future focused, I guess, when you think of like Xenogears.
Well, yeah,
I've never played Xenosaga, but just looking at it, you can tell that it's kind of in the same vein as like Chronicles,
yeah,
and
it's all
they're
like
all,
more futuristic, but
yeah.
it would be really interesting if you got to something completely the opposite, you know.
Well,
But
speaking of completely opposite, here's a game. I don't know if you've ever played Wild Arms.
I've not, but I know people absolutely love that. That was a Vita game, right? Or there was one on the Vita. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, there was one on the Vita. Like the original Wild Arms was on the PlayStation, released in in North America was released in '97. But yeah, Wild Arms as like a
There's a
franchise, like,
bunch of them.
yeah, they got a ton. so, uh, so yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure Vita was one of them. Nothing really recent though. Like the last
2018 Wild Arms Million Memories, which definitely sounds like a mobile game,
yeah, well, it
right?
would make sense that it
Yeah,
died on
yeah,
mobile.
a role playing game that brings Wild Arms franchise universe to your smartphone. So the last real one was Wild Arms XF,
Oh, it was a
uh,
PSP game.
for portable PS Portable in 2007.
Now you might have seen it on Vita because I know a lot of the PSP games I think you could download onto Vita.
Yeah,
So
that was definitely. I remember people really like this one, right? I mean,
Yeah.
obviously people really like the franchise. I feel like for whatever, but yeah, that would be interesting, especially Sony, right? It's like, of just take give 10 million of that $500 million you wasted on live service, and we
Yeah.
could have pumped out one of these games.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I'm looking at so MediaVision is the company that developed it, and I guess they're best known for Wild Arms and Chaos Rings. But it's funny because I'm looking at the list and like they're still making or they're at least contributing to games, and they have the 100 line Last Defense Academy on here listed as a game that they
Hmm.
worked on this year. So that's neat. I didn't
Put the
know.
work in.
Yeah, between I guess them and Tukuyu Games. That's the Ushikoshi and the Danganronpa folks, I think. Yeah, yeah, it's ex-employees of Spike Chunsoft. So yeah, there's the MediaVision still kicking around. So again, it doesn't not likely gonna see this one come back. Again, it's one of those.
Man can hope, right?
Yeah, looking at like Sony. Sony was the publisher in Japan. Xseed was the publisher in North America. Again, I guess I'd love to see like a remaster or even like a port to. It'd be nice if we could see something on like Steam and Switch to kind of reignite the passion into the franchise. I guess just because there, like you said, there's a few games here, so it's and yeah, I hear people have brought it up quite often as a fun franchise. So. I know Breath of Fire was another another RPG franchise that died on mobile. It's just like
Every
it's such a
time.
common theme, you know.
I
So yeah,
remember wanting like, so I remember the year the GameCube came out, my mom had convinced us like that we were no shot in hell we're getting it. So we
yeah,
like turned our attention to the GBA, and it's like, all right. And I remember like looking through the magazines and seeing like Breath of Fire, like for the GBA. I was like, I want that game. So, like, that's the game. Like, I need that. I mean, obviously, there's probably a bunch of games I was looking at, but I remember the Breath of Fire games. And then again, to this day, I've never played one.
yeah. Well, yeah, it's been on my backlog forever. Yeah, because the first Breath of Fire was made available on GBA. So was the second one. The
I
third
think
one.
they did a bunch of them. I think all, right? Because there's four. Is there four Breath of Fires?
Yeah, well, there's
Or there's
actually
probably more, right? I know there's at least four, I
yeah,
feel
there's a
like.
looks like there's four. There's four in North America and one spin-off, I guess, whatever Dragon Quarter is, but PS2 era was the last time they were making Breath of Fires.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the first two were the only ones on GBA because the third one was released on PlayStation but also on PSP, and that's the same for Breath of Fire 4.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I guess I was looking at the first two there then.
Yeah, and so Breath of Fire 6 was released on
And
mobile.
it's, dude, they got a slamming logo. Like,
Yeah.
super cool.
Well, and I know Naughty Oxford always sings the praises of this franchise, so it's been on my list. But I know I was reading uh, an interview with one of the longtime guys at Capcom, and he said that yeah, basically like the franchise just wasn't selling enough, and then they decided like, oh, we'll just stick it on mobile and see how it goes, and it did not go good.
And yeah,
So
and then we made even less.
yeah, so then Capcom was like, we're done, we're out. So unfortunately, I can't imagine, especially like Capcom has so many franchises that are just making money. It's just they're just printing money. Like it was, they had a print press down in the head office. When you think of like Resident Evil and
Mm, yeah.
uh, Monster Hunter is Capcom too, right?
Yep,
Or am
yep.
I? Yep.
No, yeah, you got it.
And then yeah, and then they've still got Mega Man games that they haven't made in forever. I know the last one I don't think got a whole lot of praise, but there's so much nostalgia for that franchise. I can't imagine. They won't put some more out there.
There was actually, you don't have one listed here that I was thinking about. Gauntlet Legends, dude, or I guess just Gauntlet in general. But the last release was Gauntlet in 2014, and it looks like it got middling reviews. But I feel like that's over a decade. Gauntlet Legends, I feel like would be a good game to have like nice, easy online access, right? Like to be able to jump in and play with your friends and stuff.
Yeah.
We played the ever living crap out of Gauntlet Legends for the N64 back in the day. Um, and
I
like
th-
just this super fun, like action RPG, I guess, you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like just blasting people, leveling up and collecting stuff,
Yeah, we need to figure that out. And I know Paige is a big fan of that game too. And I recently figured out how to do net play with RetroArch.
Oh, dang.
So yeah, that might have to be a thirsty mage play to get some of us playing Gauntlet Legends
That game
via
is
net
so
play.
much fun, man. I still remember like one of I don't want to say one of the best days of my life, but like one of those like days that just like stands out. I don't remember exactly how old I was, but I remember like I didn't go to school. Um, I was sick, wink wink. And
Yeah,
then I played Gauntlet Legends like all day. And then I can like vividly remember like I was playing, my parents are on the computer in like the next room, and my brother comes down and is like, "You gotta come check this out." And like we go upstairs and it was South Park, and it was the first time I ever saw South Park, and they're just like cursing on TV, and we're like, "Oh my god, this is incredible! Like this is so funny." And we're like, "We'll see how long this is last before it gets canceled."
yeah.
And then they just signed like a like $150 billion contract the other day.
I know it's just like 25 years, and they got two more at least.
God bless them.
Yeah. I feel like most people's greatest day ever begins with the words, "I didn't go to school."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I called out sick.
Yeah. Wink, wink.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
times. Oh,
So I think with like I said, with a lot of these games, we know they're dead because they were around in the 2000s, and they're no longer been made. So we kind of established that they're not around. But I'm curious. So we've got a few franchises now where I feel like there's a question of whether they're going to be toast or not. Like where the future holds. I know we talked about Xenoblade there from earlier, but I'm curious. Like, have you ever played a Star Ocean?
I haven't, but it's so funny because they're always like what Star Ocean R, right? And the second story R or
Yeah,
something like that. Maybe those are just the remakes, but I feel
yeah,
like I always see them and like I'll see them on sale. I'm like, ooh, if this was on sale, like when I was like looking for a game, it might be the one. But I feel like it's never lined up. Um,
yeah,
but I believe the second one, right? The second story is like supposed to be really good, and like it looked incredible. The new visuals.
yeah. Because it kind of got like an Octopathish 2D HD. Like, well, it did get a 2D HD like remake. So yeah, I
It's
picked it up.
yeah,
I guess it was a couple years ago now. I think time has no meaning anymore.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and I think I got about halfway through it, and then just kind of the battle system kind of just wore on me, and so I was
Mm.
like, I'll put this down for a bit and see if I come back to it, and I never did. So I'm pretty sure that is the remake of the second game in the series. They all kind of have the same overall theme, I think, where it's like space. It's like kind of a space exploration, but they end up on like a more not don't want to say prehistoric, but like it's usually like astronauts get like stranded on a planet sort of thing. Like I think it was the first. Oh, I think it was the first Star Ocean where they go through like a portal or something back in time. I don't know. I know there's been a lot of them, and a lot of them have been like remastered or like new versions made. But I think like the last real new one was in 2022, The Divine Force, and I don't remember that doing all that great. Like I remember
Mm.
people talking about it, but I don't think it sold all that great. And then that was kind of around the time when Square Enix had dropped like 30 games in a year, and then they're like, "Oh, guys, we're not selling as much as we need to here." And I think we're going to find out that a bunch of Square Enix titles of are going to be shelved for the time being, and I'm thinking Star Ocean is going to be end up being one of them, just because
Yeah.
it's not. It's kind of like a B tier, I would have to say. Think, especially
Yeah, it
when you
doesn't
look
have
at
that
the
pull.
no, like, and it doesn't like so. I mean, at this point, Square Enix is like Final Fantasy Saga, Mana, like those are all like tent poles. And I'm hoping, we see another Octopath and Triangle Strategy. Um, but yeah, I just don't know how much room there is for something. And another Square Enix one I'm sure is done is like The World Ends with You. I don't
Oh,
know if
yeah,
it,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, that
uh,
got a re-release on the Switch, right?
yeah,
But I again, I feel like I haven't played like all these games. But that one was like just like super unique, right? I know the oh my god, the battle system, that's the word I'm looking for,
yeah.
right? It's like super different. Um so I wonder if it would be one of those like would they be able to reinvent the wheel, or I mean I guess not playing it like I don't know if like playing that style game is like oh it was great once, like
Yeah.
or is it like it could totally carry in another game.
Yeah, well, I played the first one and I absolutely destroyed my touchscreen on my 3DS playing that
Oh
game
no.
because it's so frantic and uh, like so on three. I think it was originally a DS game, but I played it on the 3DS and um, all the combat is like swiping, so you're always like doing different kinds of swipes depending on
Just yeah, hacking that screen to death.
yeah, so I was just scratching the absolute crap out of it, so you'll do like circles or slashes or like different kinds of moves, and the other thing is it's very chaotic too because there's a character on the top screen and a character on the bottom screen, so you're using the touch screen to do moves for the bottom character, but then you're using the D-pad to do moves for the top character,
Oh
and
geez, yeah.
you're trying to like. Uh, I don't know. I've gotten different advice on like how to like some people are like just ignore the top screen, don't worry about it, that they'll figure it out for themselves, just focus on the bottom, or like try to split your eyes between the two or take quick glances. But yeah, it was like a chaotic game. But the and I know when it came out on Switch, I don't know exactly how they tackled that, but I know no, I didn't hear anyone who liked the way they tackled the battle system on the
Yeah.
Switch. I know personally, like I hate touching the screen in my Switch, so I would like I don't know if it
I
requires
feel
any
like
kind of touch, then I'd be like, no, I'm out.
I feel like it didn't, or maybe it had an option that didn't, but I could be talking out my butt. So
Yeah. But I feel bad for that one because so I bought Neo the sequel. I haven't played it yet. I really need to because I really love the first one, and like the music is incredible. It's kind of like I don't even know. It's kind of like I don't want to say club music, but it's kind of like punky. Like it's just different from any other RPG music,
hmm,
and I actually listen to that soundtrack at work all the time. It's so
really,
good. Yeah. And then just the way like it's got so much style to it because there's a lot of like all of the moves are from badges that you collect as you're going through like real life Shibuya. So the like the collecting of the badges is really neat, and then like you're buying new clothes to for like power ups and stuff. And so like on a modern console, I think that would be pretty like there's a lot. I feel like there's a lot they could do with that, but you know, again, money is king and capitalism runs everything. So
yep.
I don't think it's sold enough, and I think Square put that on the shelf, unfortunately. So
Well, we could only be so lucky if they put this next one on the shelf.
I know I had to put this on because it was so hilarious. So yeah, there has not been a Nino Kuni for a while.
Woo! Thank God.
Yeah, I know the first one gets a lot of praise. You and I gave the second one. We gave it a fair shot. I will say we gave it an absolute. We went in with open minds.
We were even
Uh,
hyped to at some point. We were hyped
yep,
for it.
we
Got
were
our
hyped.
pre-order booger. keychain or whatever it
Yeah,
was.
yeah. Lofty. I think I still have the. Actually, I might have lost that keychain because. Oh no! It's on. I put it on my kid's backpack. So if he ever needs a weapon, he can just pull that off his backpack, and he's got some nice brass knucks
Scare him
there.
away.
Yeah. But yeah, the we gave it a try. Level 5. I mean, they're known for doing good stuff, so it made sense that it should have been good. But I think Nino Kuni 2. Like I can't speak to Nino Kuni 1, but I know Kuni 2 just did not work. It did not.
You didn't play the first one?
No, I never played the first one.
It's overrated, dude.
Oh yeah.
It's
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 because
overrated.
Because it's Studio Ghibli animated. I imagine is
Yeah,
the overrated.
yeah, it looks amazing and it's super nice, and it's just a very mediocre game. Other than that,
Yeah.
and it
Well,
lasts too long.
yeah. And this is a franchise that was put out to pasture on mobile as
Thank
well. So
God,
yeah,
put it out
and
on mobile. Yeah,
yeah,
the deal has been sealed.
yeah. I don't see Nino Kuni ever coming back either. Like I think I don't want to speak to Level Five's finances, but I've heard things that they're hanging on there, and
Well,
I know
hopefully,
they do.
Fantasy Life helped them out.
Yeah, well, and they have that Dika Police, I think it's called. That's supposed to be coming out soon too, right? And
I think a new Inazuma 11 game too.
yeah, and I think there's a new Professor Layton, right? Could be wrong about that, but
That I'm not sure about.
they always have that in their back pocket if they need to. I feel like they would go to that before going back to the well on Nino Kuni.
Yeah.
Can't imagine two sold very well, and I feel like as soon as it hits the mobile platform, that's pretty much the white flag. I think in that case. But yeah, I guess I kind of wanted to wrap up on a little bit more of a hopeful note in the sense of, there's also some one offs out there that, you know, that caught our attention at some point, and for whatever reason, just we haven't seen a sequel or a follow up to it. And I've got a couple that are on my list. I don't know if you've got a particular one that you want to start with, Casey. If that you would love to see a publisher or developer go back to and give it a second go.
Well, it's one of yours you got listed here. It is Radiant Historia. It is man, what a great game. It came out originally on the DS. I didn't play it then, but I did play the re-release that came out on the 3DS, which is a
Perfect
staggering
chronology.
7 years ago at this point. Good lord.
No way. It
Yeah,
doesn't.
2018.
Oh man, I remember playing that when it came out.
Yeah, I think we played that together, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we did a Mage episode on it way back in the
yeah.
day.
One
Um,
of the early ones, I think.
yeah, no, this game rocks. Right, and I feel like a lot of games try and do the time travel and like this has got like different sort of like timelines and stuff. They try, but a lot I feel like can get convoluted or just done sloppily, not well. I feel like this game does really good, and I think it might be unique to the re-release, or maybe they just made it better. But like how it's recorded is like really nice. Like I said, sort of easy to follow and like easy to jump back at different points to move the story along. And yeah, I'm surprised. Right, this was made by Atlas. Um, Right? Yeah, developers Atlas and Headlock. I don't know
Yeah.
that,
Well, I
but
think Triace was a part of it too, because they made Radiator Stories,
mm,
and they're also the developers of Star Ocean.
funny
So,
enough. But yeah, this game kicks butt. And is there a Steam release? I think there is, right?
is there really? I,
Uh, am I
I,
making that up?
you must be making that up. I can't imagine. It seemed like it was like uh, so
No, okay.
developed for the 3DS that
All right, I'm just being a silly guy. Uh, yeah, no, well, shoot, I wish it did. Just get more people on it.
yeah.
But yeah, it's right. So it came out in 2011 originally, 2010 in Japan, 8 years. Yeah, so probably unlikely, but man, it would be awesome. Game is. I would love to replay this game actually.
Yeah, well, and Atlas, they're still around. They're still making RPGs, so I mean, maybe. I mean, they could
And
take a
if there's anyone
break
with
from
some
Persona.
extra cabbage, they get that
Yeah.
Persona money.
Oh, exactly. Like Sega can. I feel like they should be expanding Atlas. I don't feel like Atlas releases enough. There's so many great games and franchises from them where it's like, you guys need to hire more people. We need more Atlas games quicker. But yeah, I remember playing the 3DS for one, the remake when it came out, or the whatever you call the upgraded version. And yeah, it played great. I'd love to see another take. Like I don't know if it necessarily like if they feel like the story was done, they don't need a sequel, but using the same kind of
Template.
mechanics, or yeah, like use that template and give us a new Radiant Historia. Would be a good game, I think. Uh, yeah, my other one. It's funny. I was looking at my list of like favorite RPGs, and I saw 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, and I'm like, man, Vanillaware, like they always make great games, but when you look at the games they're making, it doesn't. I don't think they really go. They do sequels. Like they always seem to be
They're
like
one
doing
and
something
doneers.
new. Yeah, so I was.
Maybe that helps keep the games good, instead of getting stale and bored
Well, that's
as
the thing.
workers.
Like, yeah. Well, and maybe it's just like their style. They just don't want to. They want to keep it fresh,
Dwell
do
in one
something new.
world too much. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know, like obviously, with Unicorn Overlord coming out last year, it'll probably be. It seems like there's pretty big gaps between Vanillaware games, because there's about a 5 year gap from 13 Sentinels to Unicorn Overlord, and then there is about a 3 year gap, I guess, from Dragon's Crown.
I've still never
Um,
played a Vanillaware game.
Really, you should. 13 Sentinels is good. Like so. I guess again, it could be one of those things where. Well, I mean, the story was. I don't know if they could really do anything with the story. Like they'd have to do something new. But uh,
14 Sentinels.
yeah, the way it was set up was so there was like a story like a visual novel style where you would like the story would play out, so you could go into that, and each character had like their own path, so you like choose the character and continue their particular story, and then there was a section where you would go and do like the I guess turn based combat. It was with the I guess they were Sentinels or whatever, the big Gundam robots that were blowing stuff up. It was more, I guess, a few years ago now. I can't believe this came out in 2019.
I know,
Kind of.
like you said, time is weird.
Oh man. Yeah. So there's just like different sections that you could kind of just play, like tackle it however you want. Like it will get to a point where you're like, okay, you've gone too far in one particular person's story, so you got to work on someone else's, or you've done all the stories. Now you got to do the
Do they
combat to kind of
interact with
catch
each
up.
other, the
Oh yeah,
characters? No,
yeah. Like
I know.
all the
I'm just
stories
poking
are.
fun at Octo Stink.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, they definitely talk to each other in this one. But yeah, I guess I'm excited for whatever Vanillaware wants to give us. But
You got a
like
while.
yeah, 13 Sentinels was an amazing game. It was the last time that I stayed up till like 4 in the morning on a work day,
Woo.
because it was just too good to pass up the ending. I had to
Yeah,
see it.
no, I know people liked Unicorn Overlord. And then yeah, from that stemmed me looking into it, and then people not just you, obviously a lot of people like 13 Sentinels as well. I feel like they're on my watch list somewhere for when they go on sale.
Yeah,
But it's also like it's like I got to be in the mood for like a tactical game like that.
yeah, that's true. Um, I guess. Well, we're getting near the end here. Did you have any other one-off games that you think you'd like to see come back, or anything in that?
Mm.
I have one last one that I'll mention, but
Let's hear yours, and I'll try and think. I feel like we're gonna end recording, and then I'm like, oh dang it.
but this is more for a time or a mechanic than a story or a game per se. But I miss the the old kind of like original Trails in the Sky style. Um, Kind of just the whole RPG, I guess, like in the sense of like I liked the art direction and the animation, that kind of isometric. I love the more the kind of more basic focused on arts, battle system. Like Trails has evolved so much. It's to the point where the battle system now is almost, it's like bordering ridiculous now. Like even someone who's played all the games like I have, more than once in many cases, like even I'm like, oh my god, there's just too many mechanics in this friggin' battle system now. Like I have to, I'll forget like stuff because there's just too many. There's like 15 menu radials now in the game, and then on top of that, you'll have like 30 different characters that you're playing with by the time you get from like beginning to end. Like it's just, I just find
Yeah.
it overwhelming, and it's like, oh, I kind of miss the simplicity of like PSP style RPG. So it's, I'd love to see, like it wouldn't have to be Trails, but I'd almost, if an indie developer came out with like, oh, here's an homage to Trails in the Sky, I think I'd be on that like right away.
Yeah, all about it. Yeah. Well, it is only one of your favorite games of all time. If it was
Yeah,
taking inspiration.
yeah. So yeah, that's what I would like to see is revive the original Trails PSP style RPG system.
Mm. Yeah, I'm gonna leave on that. That sounds good.
Yeah,
Because yeah, well, I saw you even had like Skies of Arcadia here, right? Which is funny because right, like Skies, isn't that
yeah.
just
That's right. Well, I
not a
don't.
one-off per se?
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure Skies of Arcadia is a one-off. Like it's a game. I know it's on GameCube. I never played it, but I hear about it all the time.
Is it?
Uh,
You know what? I guess I always, for some reason, uh,
I always thought it was a Tales of game.
yeah, yeah, me too. Because yeah, Tales of Symphonia.
Yeah,
That's the one I played on. I remember on GameCube. I remember I had the yellow spine collector's edition. Yeah, and it's so funny because I've always seen people like, "Yo, Skies of Arcadia is actually sick as hell,"
yeah,
and I'm like, "Right," and you're an air pirate, like that's super cool. And I guess I always thought it was a Tales game, but I was like, "Yeah, it's super expensive for the GameCube."
yeah.
And then
I
I
always
never, yeah,
dismissed it because I'm like, I don't like Tales of games, so I just
dude,
never
I
bothered.
totally a million percent thought this was a Tails game. Oh my god,
Yeah,
that's so funny. Well, I was
yeah,
like, well, why did he put a Tails game in the series? It needs a
yeah,
sequel part. That's funny.
yeah. So
Oh,
I,
I'm surprised they haven't re-released just because I don't even think that's you could play it anywhere but or anywhere legally, but the like the main release, right? Like I don't think they ever re-released it
no, well,
even.
I think there's a remaster coming out, or
Is there?
there's like, yeah,
Or is it
there's
rumored?
either, it's either a remaster or a rumor of a remaster.
Yeah, no. Well, you can't obviously listen too much, I guess, to the AI overview, but it says
Yeah,
nothing official.
yeah,
But that would be cool because I'd definitely be on that because I've heard, like I said, I can even remember way back in the day, people really liked that game a lot.
yeah. Well, and like you said, it's only available on GameCube, and
GameCube and PlayStation, or
I guess
no,
Sega must.
Sega, right?
Well,
Was
Sega
it the
owns it. I think
Dreamcast?
it was only a GameCube game as far as I know. I'm just gonna
Hold
check
on,
here. Oh, it was on Dreamcast as well.
Dreamcast. Yeah, yeah. I think it was Dreamcast and then got ported to GameCube.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. Yeah. So yeah, come on, Sega.
come on, baby, give it to us.
Yeah, we
That one
need
would
to
definitely be awesome.
a sub $300 way to play this game.
Yeah, as David's like,
Yeah, yeah. I guess legally. Yeah. All of a sudden, a GameCube emulator appears on my Retroid Pocket,
yeah,
mysteriously.
whoop. How'd that happen?
Mysteriously. Yep. But I guess we'll end it on that note. Sega, if you want to give us that game, I will give you the money. Don't you worry. But yeah, we'll have to see if those rumors are true. And yeah, I guess I'll just on the way out remind everyone to head on over to thethirstymage.com to get access to the Patreon and the Discord. We'd love to hear from you. The Discord's been growing like a weed lately. We're getting lots of new folks in, so we're getting lots of lively conversation. And my favorite place on the internet. It's a great bunch of folks. Every conversation is always positive and a joy, and it's sometimes it's actually nice to these days, like I don't even bother with the news anymore. It's just like, you know what? I've been depressed all day. I don't need to continue on being that. I'll just go chat with some buddies on Discord, and makes the day a lot better. So if you're looking for that escape from the craziness of reality, feel free to join us over on the Discord for a chat about RPGs and video games in general. So, but I guess with that, I'll thank Casey for joining me, and we'll see everyone at the next Thirsty Mage. Bye for now.
Adios.